Hey guys, Kelade here. Welcome to my Mythic Drest'agath kill/commentary video. For the site, we're going to be starting off in the back side of the room, and we're going to charge this Drest'agath right here on the right side. As far as for talents are concerned, I am using Endless Rage, Double Time, Fear Slash, Warpaint, Carnage, Dragon Roar, and Siegebreaker. I'm using Condensed Light Force as the major, Lethal Strikes, Purification Protocol, and Conflict and Strife as the minors. For Corruption, I'm just using, I think, whatever best simming at the moment is. There's some Echoing Void in there, and I think there's like maybe a crit one. I don't know exactly all of them, but basically after we kill that first tentacle on the right, I don't take any implodables. I come over here to the tentacles. Generally, as melee on this fight, whenever tentacles are up, that's probably going to be your target. Now, the ads that you're going to see me go on every single fight is the exact same ads that we go every single time, right? Here's a little eye beam from the boss. Just make sure you dodge it, right? Now, as far as for us, for the melee, actually, me included, when this tentacle dies, we're going to pick up the debuff, and we're going to DPS the boss. So, if you guys haven't seen this fight, the way that, unfortunately, I got to pick up this last debuff right here. I can't pick it up. There we go. The way that this fight works is that you need that debuff. That debuff allows you to actually damage the boss. Now, you can damage the boss whenever you want, even if you don't have the debuff. But if you don't have the debuff, the damage that you do will be healed in a few seconds from the boss. So there becomes a point in the fight where, like, if it's like the last 2 seconds of the fight, sure, everybody can hit the boss because you'll probably kill him before he heals, right? So I have like 4 more seconds left on debuff, and then so from this point, there's 2 tentacles up, right? Since I've been hitting the boss, I'm actually going to go to the square tentacle. On top of that, this one has been also debuffed by the tanks. You guys will see it throughout the fight where the tanks will have a big red circle around them. That thing's going to explode around them and debuff everything with that volatile corruption debuff. Basically, everything hit by that. Right there, you can see it on the top of my screen, that red circle. It hit the ad and gave him a debuff. That debuff makes everything take 60% more damage for like 15 seconds. So right here, right? Once again, the tank has it again. The actual like blow up is a little bit bigger than the indicator. So you see how the circle doesn't actually hit both targets, but the blow up is actually a little bit bigger. And when he like hits them, you can see my ad didn't get the debuff, so it's going to take 60% more damage. So as far as for like how to do the most amount of damage on a fight, you really as a raid need to be taking advantage of these debuffs. Generally they should come out frequently enough where there's almost always some ad that should be debuffed, so you can hit it with them, right? We just didn't debuff these 2 ads again that we're hitting because they're about to die anyways, right? So we kill this ad. So this set we kill both of the moths at the same time. And then, of course, like I mentioned, if there's a tentacle up and you're melee, you're probably going to be on the tentacle. And then, of course, as far as for healers are concerned, it kind of depends on like what you guys need. I think generally, if there's nobody or if we just want 1 healer, it's our Holy Pally, but it can always obviously depend on whatever your raid has. But as far as for my second pickup, it is going to be when this tentacle dies, right? Perfectly, all my cooldowns are coming back up. You can see my Condensed Life Force is ready. My Recklessness and Siegebreaker are basically almost ready. So I get it, drop my Condensed Life Force, charge the boss with all my cooldowns. Hopefully I don't drop my Fear Slash. Nope, don't drop it. Perfect, kept it up. And then just hit the boss with all my cooldowns. Now, this is the best way to like kill the fight. Technically, if you actually are just like straight up like patting your ass off, you want to use your cooldowns on the ads that have the debuff, right? Because you're doing 60% more damage. So, in the future, if you guys are into that, you can do that. But if you're caring about the boss kills, of course, you want to use your cooldowns on the boss. Right here, after we, hit the boss with our 30 seconds that we can hit it, there's these 2 moths that we want to kill. You want to be careful about standing too close to these 2 moths because these guys are going to give you a debuff. And if that debuff stacks up, you get mind controlled and then you get to be killed. So you don't want to get that heal absorb debuff, right? So that's why you don't want to stand in between both of them. After we kill those, we come over here. I use this eye because unfortunately, you can't target the tentacles and charge them. So you can charge that eye and then come over and hit the tentacle. On top of that, on this tentacle, there's 2 eyes on both sides. So whenever he does the thing where you have to like get away, just hit an eye instead. And of course, you can always try to kick the eyes too. And then you can always cleave both of the targets too. So you can hit the tentacle and then cleave off into the eye. I actually think the eye on the left side here, this one is actually easier to cleave for some reason. I'm not sure. Maybe it's like maybe he's just slightly closer. I find that he's easier to like get whirlwind cleaves onto. So when that tentacle dies, that's also the one that we pick up. So I'm waiting for that beam to just go through, pick up a debuff, and then we're back on the boss. And then, of course, I've been saving my Recklessness a little bit. So now I have Recklessness and Siegebreaker on this boss. But generally, The places that I picked up on the ads are pretty good in regards to like how my cooldowns. Like I don't have to hold my cooldowns that much, and I generally don't advise that you do either as a warrior. So we're pretty good. So right here, just walk out a little bit because I feel like I was gonna get taken damage, and I did. And then since my debuff was only going to be up for like 5 more seconds, I just came over here and hit the ads instead. So these two ads, there's an eye and then there's the poison one. Generally as melee, you want to hit the eye over the maul, because the eye, you just need to kick it, where the maul does like a that AoE heals around it. So generally you want your melees on the eye and your range on the maul if you can. And then of course whenever you can get on tentacles, you go over there. Unfortunately I don't have my leap and you can't charge these things, so I just gotta slowly walk over here. And then as far as for like using Razor Core in this fight, I just use it whenever there's an ad. And I use it whenever I go on the boss too. Because when an ad dies, you're going to get all the stacks anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The Entropic Crashes, you just get out. I actually maybe will get stunned at one point in the fight, but there is a stun mechanic in this fight, right, where you have that circle around you. So right there, I could actually pick up, but we don't, because there's, in this last tentacle over here, like before we really start pushing the boss damage, we make sure like everybody gets over, even some ranged. Just to make sure that we're not gonna get in a point in a fight where I have like 3 tentacles up, right? So we get this down, and at this point I'm saving like the cooldowns that I do have up, because I'm gonna go to the boss afterwards. I don't know what that mechanic is, so I guess I got grip to the boss. Sure. Just walk back there and pick up my buff up. I've actually never gotten grip like that before. I don't know. I'm guessing I don't know why the rogue tried to take the debuff, but he couldn't. But I took it anyways. Maybe he still had a debuff up, but it confused me a little bit. So right here, as I'm DCing the boss, just making sure that, you know, if you can, try to hit as many targets with your Dragon Roar as you can with it. But yeah, we're just hitting the boss. There's a couple of tentacles up. You see this one next to me, and there's a one on the left. I think the one on the left is the one that's being DPS down the most. But I think right here, the biggest thing that can kill you, obviously, if you're standing the eye beam, there's the one where you have to like entropic crash. Like that's the most dangerous, because if there's this many ads up and they all entropic crash, it's gonna be a lot of raid damage, right? So we get that tentacle down, and then we come over here, and then we go get the other tentacle down. Just make sure there isn't as much like damage, especially out on tanks or the raids you can, because you kind of, these reality tiers does get a little bit annoying by the end of the fight. And of course with the entropic crash, you want this thing, you want as little things up as possible, right? Because if the second tentacle, the other tentacle is up, we probably would have all just died, because each of them are going to do like an AoE with it. So on the left, you see that the little blue circles, that's what I was wanting to talk about earlier, the stun things. For those, you don't want to get stunned while you're hitting a tentacle. So if you have it while you're DPing a tentacle, what you actually do is you need to walk out of the tentacle, because when you're inside, right, you're going to be line of sighting from every other healer except for the one that's inside with you. And if there's like 1 or 2 stuns, probably won't have enough, right? So right here, I'm just trying to kite my thing from beyond around. I think, nope, he actually still hits me. Feels bad, man. I was trying to kite him around the boss, but we didn't get it. But yeah, so I have the debuff, right, as we get execute phase, so just hitting the boss a little bit. I am going to probably walk out of this a little bit. A lot of damage, but we're still good. We're still alive. So now we're just going to kill some little ads, because there's nothing I can do at the moment on the boss. I think the call was to just get one more thing down. So that way we can get some more puddles for people to DPS with. Yeah, so the tankers come over and debuff this specific eye and maw. We're going to kill this eye, and that'll be it for, you know, the rest of the fight. So here's the stun, right? You want to make sure you get it more people, because everybody that's in that blue circle gets stunned. I think at the end there, maybe we didn't have to go on those. We could have just went on the boss for a little bit, because the boss was pretty low. It's a lot of like, you just do it and you eventually realize, okay, we're going to do everything the exact same order, and you can just progress with the boss that way, to be honest. But as far as for all the ad kills, if you guys have like similar DPS and the raid compositions, I would suggest you kill them in the same order. But yeah, that's it for Mythic Drest'agath. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. Feel free to subscribe to see more. See ya.